There, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to HoI 4, TNO, SOG. Losing a lot of acronyms this video, because WTFN. Anyway, in the last video, we started doing some good work against corruption. We got our, removal of Yakuza influence from Yokoi done. I think I just ended up going for the wrong duo of options here, but we figured out officially how to, I don't know how else to put it, how to cheat the seats, and so I just gave myself the seats back. I don't want to mess around too much more with that, but yeah. Just want to do that. I think we'll get working on more corruption as of now. So let's get eyes on the other corporations. We'll lose a seat, but that's okay. Let's now turn our attention to the other corporations who are just as guilty of widespread corruption as the criminal underworld. These are powerful men, but one way or another, vigilant oversight must be felt by them. There will be no room for their harmful practices. This corporate corruption crisis has gone on for too long and ends now. Their power over government will be removed. That is a tabby focused up. That's from Tabaritsky's tree. I swear to God, that's from Tabaritsky's tree. Or it looks like it is. Yep! Eyes in every house. Same focus as eyes on the other corporations. That is the same as that. So, what I'm saying is, Bergsis Masaharu path when? Fuck yeah, Guangdong Tabby crossover, true. That is weird, huh? Go figure. Survival training. I knew Tappy was the rightful unifier of China. Indeed. In Koshu, Yakuza counted their earnings from the streets, protection from... I already read this one before. Parasitic, pervasive, seductive. Army coup in Peru. This will actually reduce our culture of corruption. Oh no. Oh no. Not the so shreds. Canada's going down a weird path this timeline. Yamaguchi blinked away fatigue as he looked at the paper in front of him. It was a simple draft of a simple product. It was also the result of countless sleeping nights of deliberation, planning, and work. This, Yamaguchi knew, was a product that finally went over to Matsushita's support. A vacuum cleaner. The idea was brilliant for a number of reasons. Vacuums were needed in almost every household. Vacuum cleaner versatile and easy for assembly. Finally, vacuum cleaners were present in most every electronics store this side of the Pacific Ocean. Lately, Yamaguchi thought to write those qualities down, be they useful for the actual pitch. He jotted down the bullet points for his presentation. His mind drifted away to a prosperous future. A future where Nintendo wasn't an unknown company barely eking out an existence in the Three Pearls, but instead Nintendo was a household name. Appliances bearing the Nintendo name would be present in every home, bringing people across the globe comfort and ease of living. Yamaguchi didn't let himself get lost in the nice distraction for very long, however. He still had an important call to make. I'm impressed that I recognize that. It's been a while since I played Tabby. So England destroyed Wales. I'm not going to make the Margaret Thatcher joke. I've already done one ear rape this time around. I don't need another. So cursing the NES could exist in the 60s. God, yeah. Let's get working on more corruption. We'll do the enticing approach. A new development has within the situation of organized crime has revealed itself. Matsushita and his administration became contacted by two members of prominent crime organizations, Stanley Ho and Yokoi Hideki, about possible collaboration. Stanley Ho is the president of SGM Holdings, a mostly Chinese-run casino and hotel company based in Macau, several links to Triad here in Guangdong. Yokoi Hideki is a owner of Shirokiya Hotel and deeply tied to Yakuza. Both men represent factions within the Guangdong underworld that want to get rid of any criminal rivals and contenders. With access to men within the Yakuza and valuable assets here in Guangdong and abroad, having one of these two men as allies would benefit us greatly. However, dealing with men like HoI and Yokoi is like making a deal with a demon. In the end, the price is paid with your soul, and the demon will usually cheat you. Bangkok. Return of exiles to Thailand. That's interesting. Oh, the Yakuza have a bit more influence in general, though. Now they should not. Go ahead. Cement that. Corruption is very low now, which is nice to see. We'll go ahead and do that. Approval isn't as good as it could be. I think we have enough influence. I'll go ahead and buy some radio airtime for the next product run. Oh, that was just autosave. Yeah, there we go. Daily routine. Lam woke up at 6 in the morning every day, always early to work. His father's money rented a small office in Kowloon, setting up a small silk firm there. Their niche tailoring equipment, and lots of it. The silk trade not halted in the shadow of Japanese victory. Instead of boom rocked the province of Guangdong, Japanese investors flocked in to capitalize on the silk trade. After breakfast support and salted fish, he went up to his firm to talk with clients and tour the mulberry fields just up the countryside from Hong Kong. This occasion was another midsummer day. Silkworms were busy at work. Aside those stems where the berries grew, pale silk moths fluttered between the rows of neatly planted trees, whose trunks stalk in the sun in sharp shadows. A few of Lam's friends explained to the besuited Japanese men the history of silk trade, its origins during dynastic eras, Lam's history, if at all. He remained quiet. Though he was better Japanese than he used to be, he still cannot speak it fluently. In those days, he carried a gun with him, a discreet army surplus Nambu that was a trusty companion on the rural roads of the Three Pearls. New ROC was still in its infancy, small and incompetent at best. He didn't even need to fire it a lot of the time. Pointing at a prospective bandit, he would back off. If that didn't work, he would fire it in the air. He'd seen half a dozen men split up at this approach. He'd come home around 7 in the evening, just in time to put his feet up and read. Lamb thought of the phrase that eluded his mind time and time again. The blue seas turned into mulberry fields. Something in Laos. Libtards. Matsushita waited until the sun had set, the office hubbub petering away in the dull, constant drones of the air conditioning, before cutting the seal on a nondescript manila folder, but keeping it buried among his regular papers. Commissioner Matsushita had slipped the folder across his desk as the rest of the cabinet had filed out of their daily meeting, looking Matsushita in the eye for a second longer than polite before leaving. The breach of decorum had been intentional. Discussing the underworld openly was fine, but taking action demanded another level of discretion entirely. Matsushita flipped through the folder's contents briskly, already familiar with the content of the police folder on the Yakuza and the Triads. These two were created to provide cover, padding in case any nosy secretary or spy decided to rifle through Matsushita's papers. Taking the final place in hand, Matsushita quickly scanned the room to reassure himself he was alone, seeking only his reflection in the nighttime windows. Chief Executive's express behest, Commissioner Matsushita reviewed the police capabilities and determined that, yes, they could move against the Yakuza groups or Triad associates. Whatever manpower the police did not have, they could surely borrow from whichever group the chief executive chose to ally himself with, the enemy Matsushita's enemy. Matsushita stopped at the last paragraph, a brief discussion, possibility of crippling both groups, at considerable police expense. Surely it had been put there to make the other two options look reasonable, and yet, perhaps it was worth asking if it could be done. Apparently, I hate how it's spelled Laos, but apparently most people pronounce Lao. Is it supposed to be pronounced Lao? I didn't know that. When all is done, Matsushita shall stand alone. That's what I say. Let's begin the offensive. Guangdong's scandalous and crooked underworld is a Pandora's box that's not to be opened under any circumstances. Participants in this underhand dealings and affairs at the vile criminal strongholds below the surface are callous thugs who trade with dirty money and illicit contraband. Working directly with them is akin to engaging in their trivial conflicts and is absolutely contradictory to the nature of our institutions. The issue of the gangs of the ever-shifting and repugnant underworld will be handled accordingly and unquestionably with our police's own manpower and arms. Pretty sure it's pronounced Lao. I hate that there's just a silent S there for no reason. The only frame of reference I have to people talking about Laos is King of the Hill. Or Lao, potentially. I don't know what it is. If anyone knows, please tell me in the YouTube comments. Economic crash in Iberia. I don't think I've seen that event before, actually. Colombia's gaming now. There we go, new product cycle. What are we looking at making? We're gonna get radio air time. Alright, a home microwave oven. Okay, market decision. Haven't sold to the Italians yet. That could be of interest. The Argentines have been sold to as well. Let's do the Mexicanos. Increase our profitability. The market decisions. Do that. Do that. And we'll do a little bit of that too. Bam. Actually, I have free low corruption, so I'll do a little bit of that too. Military coup in Thailand. So much for Thailand being not cursed, I guess. As a fear of Colombian state stands in this gamer chair, the whole of Latin America shall tremble in fear. Indeed. Was Wallace elected in America? Yep, Wallace was elected in America. I remember now. I thought that was what happened, but just went to check. And confirm my expectations. I'll do some expenditures right now. And these don't really none of these will expand growth, so there's no need to touch them. Product cycle active. Some good stuff coming along so far. Do a quick advert campaign. Let's press a little negative press. Do I want... We're actually doing okay R&D wise, so I don't think I need to do that. How's Eugene support overall? 61%. I don't want to mess with that too much, though. Anything we can do to increase Chinese... Or there's nothing we can use to increase Chinese support. Just decreases it. We'll test the product vigorously. Maybe use a little bit of airtime for Zujin. What the hell is going on? A person next to Wang Kahi asks. She just wanted to go home. The two of them hid behind a footstall along with 3 other people, shivering with fear. Standing up for a moment, she sees a man lying on the asphalt, shirt soaked through with blood, and gore staining the surroundings. The woman lowers herself. Sleep is the least of her problems at the moment, but a few thoughts nag her. What would Kai think if she couldn't sleep? A clang made itself known at the same time as something taps the cart. A bullet ricocheting against metal. Kahi realizes. There's deep yelling, insults, and slurred speech, steeped in rage. After all the sheer noise of bullets, she hasn't heard this much noise ever since the New Year's celebration of her childhood. There's a lull as quiet footsteps traverse from left to right. It's here that Kahi makes her escape, though she isn't sure she'll truly escape. Was intended to be an arrest on behalf of citizens sword a few hours ago, as criminals turn their weapons against the populace. She's unsure if she can truly believe that. 21 people are in critical condition, while 13 have been killed in the incident. Among them are 3 officers and 7 gang members. Our condolences go out to the families of those affected. Kahi sighs. It'll take more than this to bury the underground. Right now it's the Kenpai Tai who are in charge, but not long. We're still prevailing, boys. We'll go ahead and choke out dissent for now. Time to burn some triads, indeed. A newly brandished and revitalized police force is already put to use with utmost productivity. We shall be deployed en masse across the streets, spreading the influence and control of our administration from disorderly den with 3 pearls to the Ugurian hinterlands that once lay beyond our reach. The omnipresent threat of opposition remains and lingers in the cities and countrysides, having been allowed to fester while we are incapable of effective action. This current order of matters must not remain, or to merely begin a process of exterminating our forces, acting as a cursing flame against the pernicious weeds of resistance, and citizens must be assured of our safety in this the dissidents of their destruction. Extra police, Chinese, Zujin, and Japanese expat support, all sounds great. Police controls capped at 100%. Kenpai Tai support is capped at 40%. Wonderful. So we have great and high quality. But we're only gaining... Well, we're gaining no seats at this rate. We'll hold a massive press conference. That'll help get things started. Product release deadlines. Pan-African community. Okay, we get 1 seat. And that's okay, but... Advert campaign. I don't want to sacrifice R&D right now. Still have some time for extra options to pop up. Extra options? Extra options. Okay, if I forget if you said if you were able to play TNO anymore. I think I might have asked you this, but I forget. Because I know your laptop can't handle too much at this point. Well, I cannot. Feels bad. Feels bad indeed. One extra seat. It's okay, but it could be better. Force overtime, more skilled engineers. I don't even know why it breaks. I can play way more intensive shit on it fine than TNO. Commissioner of Police directs me to inform you of your impending transfer to Special Investigation and Enforcement Branch of Guangdong Police Force. You are to receive report to Guangdong Police Headquarters within 48 hours upon receiving notice. You're hereby relieved of all duties and responsibilities of your direct present assignment. Lam cast one last look at the paper in his hand before passing on to the stern-faced officer processing papers, the newly constructed segment of GPF headquarters. His expression an Austrian mask. He glanced at the documents for only a moment before handing them back. He looked back to Lam. Specials, eh? Took Lam a moment to adjust via accent Japanese. The specials? Special Investigative Enforcement. The specials. Take a left down that hallway. You'll recognize them when you see them. Lam gave a brief nod before heading down the hallway, only to be greeted by a serious officer. He looked at Lam with flawless Japanese. You're the transfer, Haiichi, correct? Yes, Senior Constable. This is the Special Investigative Branch? Man on it. We're a bit busy at the moment. Orders from on high. Follow me to the station. He'll get you up to speed. Don't mess anything up, Suji. Welcome to Specials. Lam watched him leave and followed in his tracks, officers and men carrying supplies and checking over manifest. Lam had seen this once before. During the riots in the middle of the Kasuda crash, he could only guess what it meant now. Under new management. Next we can do this, which will get our culture of corruption to corrupt. Which is interesting. Okay. Despicable deed of corruption has haunted the offices and halls of Guangdong's corporate and civil administration ever since its original conception. They've been thoroughly ingrained at the core of the apparatus of a state and slowly fused with its societal culture. Though the cancer is still prevalent in Guangdong, efforts to slowly and gradually expunge it have been effective. Noticeable trends have been formed with the decrease of accounts of open corruption, as well as harsher enforcement of existing anti-corruption laws, all pointing to the conclusion that the pervasiveness of corruption among the populace of Guangdong is diminishing, and though we are far from eliminating this menace, it is assuring to be aware that progress is being made. Interesting. If you had to pick a warlord, not a warlord, an executive of play, who would you play? Because I did a poll on this on my channel a while back, but I don't think I got you. I don't know if I got your answer directly. That might not have been necessary there. I'll sacrifice a bit of Zujin support because I think I can afford that. Even Nightfall did little to dim the activity on a Koshu street. Evil of the good guys. Even Nightfall did little to dim the activity on Koshu streets. Bustle and bustle workers supervising vehicles, continuing unabated, dimly beneath dimly lit street lamps. Though those within the building in question had far more sinister intentions. Lam scanned the rooftops of the surrounding apartments, quietly noting the location and number of specials encamped on each roof. They had been on assignment for weeks, and the Gari tell identify the first signs of complacency. Boredom, it seemed, was contagious, even with the best. Hi, Sher, you there? Yes, officer, I'm here. Your orders? We're gonna move in. Constable, I want your men to secure the area. Make sure no one gets in or out without us knowing. Lam grimaced, aware of the impossibility of the task. Sir, I cannot adequately secure the area without involving other units from the precinct. Without their support, we wouldn't have the manpower to clearly identify distance from regular citizens or properly coordinate the building. It was his first time making the explanation. Lam just hoped the other officer would have a sense of following advice on this one. Suspicious Constable. The unreliability of the local police has made it so that their involvement cannot be permitted unless we sacrifice his operations confidentiality. Now are your men in position or not? Sir, I urge you to reconsider. Purely relying on your men will ensure that this operation will be far messier than it has to be and risk all the effort we've invested thus far. Please, allow me to contact the precinct and request additional support. The voice on the other end went silent. Lam winced in the anticipation of the officer's review. Is Komai or Ibuka the biggest cunt? Komai actively enslaves the population. Ibuka is more of the social Darwinist type. And he can shoot. He has the option, I believe, of he realizes he's a dick. He has the option of repenting or just kind of going full throttle with his evilness. So Ibuka can be fully self-aware and keep doing it. I don't know if Komai fully appreciates it. Collateral relief. Marita or Komai it is. Okay, there you go. What do you think? Should we get reinforcements or just go in? Trying to decide that. Quality, interest. Boop, boop, boop. Look at that. Can we only get 2 seats, I wonder? I'll test it out to see. Because we're close on getting full interest. And I think we'll ensure they arrive quick, Constable. We don't have much time to lose. Crisis. The morning paper's arrival line was sitting down with a client. A heavy downpour from crashing down on Kowloon. The paper boy, drenched from the rain, gruffly put the papers down on his desk and rushed out again with an umbrella. Immersed in conversation, Lam did not take a second glance at the bundle. He noticed it at the corner of his vision. He excused himself as his bull-type face proclaimed a new horror that was about to freeze in the blood of his veins. Prime Minister announced his creation of a new state. The first line read, subtitle not offer much in the way of consolation. Guangdong to be a new Manchuria. The headline went on. Exercise Pan-Asianism, continued Pan 12. God damn it, Lam thought. God damn it all! Just as the firm was getting started, he flipped through the newspaper and read the lines in febrile panic. What's got you so rattled? I'm sorry, sir, but can you arrange for another time for this meeting? Well, the client looked at Lam as if he was a curious, otherworldly harlequin. Then he burst into nervous giggle. No! There'll be nothing to talk about. My business, they need all hands on deck for the days ahead. I hope, Mr. Lam, that you will allow me this impoliteness. He stood up and ran. Soon Lam himself was on the streets, his cheap suit drowning in the rain. Then he saw the throngs of people from firms just like his, as they dashed a catch of fleeing taxis that led out from Kowloon to the financial districts in downtown Hong Kong. Fleeted feet hurrying to escape the inescapable. It could have been worse. It was a mantra Lam repeated as he walked up and down the perimeter. He had been drawn the short to clean up the mess left by the specials, dealing with the insults and complaints heard by irate residents, chafing under restrictions imposed by the debut of the GPF's newest force. He could at least rest easy knowing his intervention kept the specials from sweeping dozens more as collateral raid. Well, at least it ended today. Lam gritted the microphone. Attention! All curfew and moment restrictions in this area are to be lifted immediately. You may now continue with your day, the Guangdong police force apologizes for any inconvenience. The incensed faces and bitter looks, the insults and accusations, traitor, collaborator, informer, had long since lost their sting. One was on a Zujin without having to deal with such ostracization only on a daily, or at least a weekly basis. Now that had stopped him from trying to justify the actions of his compatriots. Such measures were necessary to ensure that innocents were not grouped with the guilty. We wish no harm with those. Ooh, I do get 3 seats, nice. We wish no harm to those who were merely caught up with the subversives. Guangdong Police Force wishes you a good day. Lam then handed the microphone to the next poor officer who had to deal with complaints. He would never be loved by the public, but he could settle for being tolerated, especially if it meant him going to sleep with a clear conscience. An enemy cowed for the time being. There we go. There we go. I think we need 32 billion, I want to say, for our next GDP check. Outbreak of the Opium War. What a strange war indeed. The what? The Opium War. There's an Opium War, I guess, in Laos. Third Opium War, boys. Let's go. Oh, shit, yeah. I just realized what that probably means. Investigate corrupt businesses. Let's do it. Also crack down on underworld corruption. Sleep soundly. Increase our Lyco seats. Let's do it. Now that the police are safely under Matsushita's thumb, we can turn our attention to other pressing matters, safe in their loyalty to the corporate state. Wonderful. Although the neon signs still gleam with vivacious colors overhead, and the air is still tainted with the unmistakable odor of diesel fuel, an unprecedented change has befallen the streets of Guangdong. The concrete sidewalks appear to be orderly. The underground trading sessions are no longer present. The derelict tenements overlooking the traffic, once a staple of criminal activity, now lay silent and abandoned. A net and characteristic yet desirable calm has descended, the once bustling hub of illicit and criminal activity of Koshu extinguished by the crackle of bullets and the stomping of boots. Many inform patrol the alleyways, their eyes scanning the place where criminals and thugs once stood, no longer harboring their presence. This Guangdong would be alien to Guangdong a few years back. This Guangdong has shed a portion of its identity, an identity that was inherited by Matsushita, has now been cleansed by the same hand. While the issue may have been silenced, we've yet to reach the stage of total pacification. The prospect of reemergence is up to time. So we now have a culture of corruption. Corruption is crippling our nation. The near universal acceptance of T-money, widespread money laundering, and the regular extortion have been incredibly detrimental to our government. Funds, a continued effort, and new directive need to be implemented to quell this beast, as our government cannot function optimally at the state. Some of small companies and businesses, however, have begun rejecting these unscrupulous practices. While maybe minor, it is a start. Look at that. Hey man, business as usual. Royal Army coup in Laos. Oh shit. That's interesting. You got a bunch of little content for all the co-prosperities for your nation. That is neat. Nezram is online? Look at that. We're catching up with Guangdong economically. Okay, we need to get 32.3 billion. Place is going fucking nuts down there, apparently. Evidently so. I'll make this video go on for a bit longer. I'll do another 7 minutes. Sleeping soundly. Wonderful. We could do more economic stuff. I think we might work on bankruptcy, though. Independent body would be preferable, because I think we would reduce corruption even more so. But we already tried getting this. I don't think we quite have the seats right now to really get working towards it. So let's get working on resolving future insolvencies. If the devastation left in the wake of Yasuda's collapse has made one thing clear, it's that the laws and regulations governing the resolution of bankrupt companies are dangerously outdated, leaving carcass of dead firms rotting in Guangdong's economic ecosystem for months on end. Every day, an insolvent firm clings to life without recourse to restructuring or financial bailouts is a day that capital is diverted from the most productive sectors of the economy, and our bankruptcies must be rewritten to this end. Ooh! Oh, fuck, I remember hearing this, but I didn't realize it. TNO has achievements now. I forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Oh, a failed coup in Chile. Interesting. The power of the atom threatens to destroy the world, and for most people, the war radiation conjures images of nightmare scenarios. For cancers and mutations, a world made unlivable. But what if it could also cook you dinner? That's the premise of Matsushita Electric's new NE700 microwave oven, using microwave radiation of heat food faster than any conventional oven ever could. This technology has already seen widespread use in the restaurant industry, but the ovens there are far too large to be used in a home kitchen. But the NE700 is small enough to fit on a countertop and promises to make cooking faster and cleaner than it's ever been. As the job market heats up, and especially as more women enter the workforce, cooking elaborate meals every day is something fewer and fewer households have time for, and eating out for every meal is prohibitively expensive. The NE700 aims to meet this need and allows working people to cook for themselves cheaply and efficiently. A new addition to kitchens everywhere. Wonderful. Just gamer mode to fetch this achievement, destroy 100 hospitals by strategic bombing in a campaign. Oh, Kev. You're evil. Javier sighed in relief as the newly installed air conditioning finally began working, blanketing him in a blissful, soothing cold. Not every minor official was getting one, especially not those stationed in a minor city surrounded by the Sonora Desert, but not every officer had connections with the shipping industry. Matsushita got their cut, his people got their cut, and he got a brand new air conditioner. He didn't make deals this clean very often. Glancing outside, Javier felt the smallest amount of pity, noticing that not a single window that he could see held an air conditioner. All these shipments, Javier reflected, were going to the men in suits, not with the ones in the streets. He was lucky to get one at all, he thought. Javier sat on the desk and cleared his mind. He did important work. It only made sense he'd be rewarded in kind. If someone wanted cool air, he thought, they could come work with him. And hey, it was a lot easier to manage papers at 20 degrees Celsius. It works for me. Kev did. Kev gave you a sub. More as hell. GDP growth. There's our GDP growth. Wonderful. It's coming together. Pragmatist reunified Kazakhstan. Whatever pragmatist means. I'm not sure if I really understand what pragmatist means there. Iberian divorce. Oh, it feels bad. With a growing consumer base in China and streamlining their costs in Guangdong, Matsushita revenues are on track to meet or exceed targets. Masahara left his final words and hang in Matsushita Konosuke's office, waiting for his adopted father to finish thumbing through the presentation materials. Finally, we're on a stable growth trajectory. Konosuke set aside the papers with approximately not, but for two other firms in the market now, and with Hitachi expressed an interest in opening an office in Guangdong, it's only going to get harder. Of course, we aren't going to fall behind any newcomers. See to it that you don't. I had my secretary book a splendid sushi restaurant for dinner. It's been too long since you and Sachiko were here for any length of time, and it'd be good to eat as a family for once. It was impossible to miss how Konosuke's face had brightened as soon as the topic turned away from work. A shift had led Masahara to unconsciously grip his papers more tightly. He was talking to two different people, one magnanimous and one disinterested. Masahara felt the creeping fear of his 1955 meeting slip back into his soul. He wondered what it would take to expunge it for good, from both his soul and his father's. Hope, yet unrealized. Well, he might figure out what it takes, but it's going to take next video, at least next video, to figure that out. Because I'm ending it there. Thanks for always watching. Like, dislike, if you didn't. Leave comments, feedback in the comment section below. I read all comments, get appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Check out various links. And yeah, that's really it for now, gang. Appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.